Hello, welcome back to part 29 of this video tutorial how to build a Pacman game in XNA. Please don't forget to buy the content. Send €2.95 to PayPal account XNAPacman 2013 at hotmail.com. We send the content in 24 hours to your email address. In this tutorial we're gonna load the collision map data into the game. And therefore we need to recreate the pathfinding data, and therefore we're going to go to the map data file, and in the public variable we're going to add a new list, so public list, and it's a list with points, and we call it the barriers. Right? Represents a list with the collision tiles. Alright. And now we need to recreate the constructor. So we're going to add here a variable, and that's a list of points, and we call it the barriers list. The list of the collision tiles, and now we can say here that this barriers is equals to the barriers list. Okay, and now we have to recreate the constructor. We need to rebuild the pathfinding data, the dynamic link library. So go to the Solution Explorer and right click the pathfinding data and say build. And now at the left bottom you can say that the build is in progress and the build is succeeded. Alright? And the next thing we need to do is switch back to our Pacman game project. So in the Solution Explorer, right click the Pacman project and set it as your startup project, just like this. Another thing we need to do is copy the collision data into our map file. So go to your collision text file we have created in the previous tutorial, and when we open it in the notepad we can say Ctrl A, so it selects all the data in the file, and we're going to say Ctrl C to copy. Alright, and now we can go to our map file, that's the XML file. Right, and that's in the content folder maps. Alright, and what we're going to do here is we're going to add a new item, and that's the barriers. Okay, and now we're going to say here Ctrl V for paste, and now we have pasted all the data in our map file. Alright, so save the file, and now we need to load the data in our game, and we're going to do that in our map class. So go to the map class, and in the set map data function at the bottom here, the first thing we're going to say here is an int x is 0 and an int I is 0. And now we can set the barriers in the map tile array. Okay, so set the barriers in the map tile array. Now we need a for loop, so for int I is 0, I smaller is than the maps, and we use the current map as the index, dot barriers dot count. Right, and then I++. And here we can say that x is equals to the maps current map dot barriers, and then we use the I for the index dot x. Okay, and here we can say the same for the I, so I is maps current map dot barriers, the I for index dot I. Okay, and now can we add it to the map tile, so map tiles x dot I is equals to the map tile type map barrier. Alright, and now we have loaded the collision data into the map tiles array. Okay, and the next thing we're gonna do is build a function, and we need the function that handle the collision. Alright, so here after the set map data function we write a function and it's called inMap, so public bool inMap, and we're gonna pass in a point. And now we can say here that we return or true or false. So we can say here if the pnt I is greater or equals than 0, and pnt.I is smaller than the number of rows, and pntx is greater or equals than 0, and pnt.x is smaller than the number of columns. Alright, now we build another one with the same name, so public bool inMap, and now we passed in an int for the column and an int for the row. And here we say return if row greater or equal is than 0 and row is smaller than the number of rows, and column is greater or equals than 0 and column smaller than the number of columns. Okay. Check if given point is in the map. Alright. The point position to check. and it returns a true if the given position is in the map. Okay. And here we can say the same. And the same for return. It is the column position, and that's the X, and it is the row position, the I. Alright, and that's the in-map function. Which we're gonna use in the next tutorial when we handle the collision for the Pacman. So I'm gonna finish the tutorial here, and I hope you enjoy, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.